Hello, my name is Ella, and I have a public legal case against me. The conviction was assault on arresting officers, dangerous bodily injury, and resistance in the context of the Dannenrod forest. The case is now in revision, and I wait for a response to my lawyer's letter, which objects against my reimprisonment. In order to process some of the high emotion that I have to do with this case, I wrote and would like to speak for you a poem. Then I would give some more inside story to this case and some perspective. Thank you for sharing with me your time. It's a non-renewable resource. This poem is called The Other. Sitting across from a prison advocate, and I get up off my seat, say goodbye and out the door, feeling an intense heat, a rage in the normalcy of keeping people in pain, the disconnected view of victims automatically to blame. This person seems not to realize that this fucked up world came before them. The conditions creating criminals, affecting not if, but when. The inevitability of the oppressed illustrating oppression, while society chases money and control beyond healthy obsession. Crime is a notion that serves the grossly powerful, and private property means that some kids go with bellies unfull. Violation is the real issue that we could concentrate on. A world able but not meeting needs is the true con. If only we began to take each other as another part of ourselves, we could fill this lack mentality that is creating all this hell. It starts with the other inside each one of us. Reclaiming our bad and wrongness is an absolute must. A desire for inner peace would reflect on the outside. New circumstances of acceptance with no one forced to hide. Releasing the prisoners obviously stirs a deep fear. But what if complete system change was not that far, but near? Communities radically committed to understanding one another. Every aspiration important, no shame to push or cover. Violators need help. We need this shift in perspective. Freedom to consider our lives, intersecting our collectives. I walk down the street and contemplate my convictions, and hope that every present advocate remembers these distinctions between a boundary set, simply honoured or not, and a separated mindset which lets the vulnerable get caught into a downward spiral in which we are all connected. Mental health meaning safety and not egos falsely protected. I dedicate this poem to any abolition thinker who may sit on the fence and offer the belief in oneness, to see life with a new lens. So, when we put ourselves out into the world, of course we will come up against adversaries. And conflict can make us grow stronger. So I want to tell you a bit about my meeting with one of these adversaries. The cops giving their witness statements inside in the courtroom. So I had been in prison maintaining my anonymity all this time. I did this for my own personal security, that of my comrades, my family, all my connections, including those migrants who don't have papers and just want a better life. So, these cops, with their code names, were allowed to keep their anonymity. They didn't have to tell their names, their addresses, their connections, even though they have huge amounts of privilege and security. Yes, this is not a level playing field. So both came in all masked up, and I was really quite fascinated by Cop K214, who came in, gave his testimony, and left. And all that time, with his demeanor, with his eyes, I could see that this person was not confident. He was not comfortable to be there. And I guess he was not comfortable in changing his testimony, which was, of course, very questionable. And what I could see in those eyes, I recognized the guilt and shame. Correct me if I'm wrong, K214, but I really wondered what this person was thinking and feeling as towards their part in the Dannenrod forest being made horizontal, their part in my imprisonment, and what they expected for their children and their children's children who will not play in forests as we did, nor our ancestors did. And this came in stark contrast to Cop D111, who came in all brazen and really didn't care. So yeah, thinking about emotion, guilt and shame, what are they for? They're just information. They're like an internal guidance system that tells us if we are on the right track or not. And we've got to make a change. My own emotion from this experience was really one of sorrow for these people. Like, wow, they've been socialized like the rest of us with this concept of deserving. This has been ongoing for centuries by church and state. That some people are deserving of a beating, those hoodlums, those violent protesters, standing up for what they believe in, that's different from us. Yeah. So, to give you a bit more context, before I got into frontline activism, I trained as a permaculture designer. And for those that are unfamiliar, permaculture is the design for the meeting of needs of communities, working with nature, not against it. It is the stewarding of landscapes and ecosystems for the best of both human and other, and non-human relationships. So, this time that I've been patiently waiting, I question myself, what would be true justice for you, Ella? How can you make peace with this case and let go of the resentment? Because we know there is resentment. The year and a half I lost my freedom, I was separated from my loved ones. The sleepless nights, the malnutrition, the head injury, the memory loss, getting out the doctor's visits, the psychologist visits, the legal fees, the defamation of my character, and constant stress of the sword being hung over my head of these people who want to decide over my life. So yeah, what would be true justice? It would be compensation for this healing that I want to do. Beyond my own healing, it would flow out into environments like this that you can see are so dry. Because I know I'm not separate from my environment. We all know that water is life, and that healthy ecosystems attract water, they filter it, and they redistribute it. And this is work that I love. Yes, and I want my adversaries, those held accountable, to fund this common healing. I will leave you with natural law, and that is that energy cannot be created or destroyed, only moved from one place to another. So I'm requesting of you, bitteschön, move the energy from punishment and ecocide towards one of restorative justice. Drop this conviction and look after planetary boundaries. We could turn a chapter in history, set a new precedent for a time when we chose compassion and the best interest of both. My legal team are very happy to settle this case and to do it eye to eye. I wish to dedicate this video to all those cops, to the public prosecutors, to the workers of Degas and Strabag that built that highway through our forest, and to the judge for our objective well-being. I'm honored to have your engagement.